Hello. Today we are going to learn how to use if and if else in our program. Okay. So before you watch this session, I would be very happy if you can complete the session of relational operators and logical operators. That will help you to understand this session much better. Okay. So what is the if and if else? Okay. The if and if else is part of our control structure. Is part of our control structure. Then what are the control structure? Okay. The control structures are one is called sequential control structure. Sequential. The second is called selection control structure. Selection. Third is called iterative control structure. Iteration. It's iteration. Okay. Fourth is called jump control structure. Okay. Sequential, selection, iteration, and jump. In sequential control structure, what happens? In the sequential control structure, every statement gets executed. Every statement gets what? Executed. Every statement, that means all the statements are executed. All the statements are executed once in a sequence. Okay? All the statements are executed once in a sequence. That means line by line will get executed. But then what is a selection control structure? In selection control structure, all the statements will not be executed. All will not be executed. Some may be executed, some may not be executed. We are going to select a statement whether to execute or not to execute it. Okay. In iteration, we are not going to execute once, we are going to execute more than once. More than what? Once. The same statement will be executed more than once. More than once. In jump control structure, we are not going to follow a sequence, we are going to jump here and there. Okay, we are going to move randomly here and there using the jump control structure. In sequential, all will be executed once in a sequence. In selections, all may not be executed. Some may be selected, some may not be executed here. In iteration, one statement will be executed more than once. In jump, we will move randomly here and there. In order to implement the selection control structure, we use three control statements. We use three control statements. Which are the three? One is if, other one is if else, other one is switch. These are the three control statements. Okay, remember control what statements. In iteration, in order to implement it, we will use what in this case? Three control statements. Which are the three? One is for, other one is while, other one is do while. For, while, and what? Do while. In jump, we will have what in this case is? We have a break, we have continue, we have go to, we have a return, okay, and we have exit. Oh, so for others, you did not put a bracket here. Why did you put? These all are keywords. These all are keywords. This is not a keyword. This is a function. Now, what is the difference? If you want to use a keywords, you don't need to include a header file. If you want to use a function, you have to include the header file because functions are part of the compiler design, whereas keywords are part of the language design. Okay, remember, is keywords are part of the language, functions are part of the compiler. If you want to do, you need to include the header file stdlib.h. These are the things. Okay, if you want to use exit, you need to include stdlib dot h, you need to include. Okay, remember this. Yeah. Now let us learn one by one. Okay, so remember in sequential, so far all our programs are sequential. Yes, we introduce in relational and in logical operators we introduce if else. Okay, but today we are going to deal more with an if else, with more problems we will solve. Okay, so let us see what is the um, sequential control statement and how I am going to convert into a selection control statement. So in this, if you look at this, every statement will be executed in a sequence. What do I mean by this? If when I run a program, first he'll ask me to enter a number, then I'll scan the number, then he'll say it'll print the hello, then he'll print the hi, then he'll print the bye. Correct? This is what is going to happen. Enter a number, I put 5, he'll print all the statement hello, hi, bye. All the statements were executed in a sequence only once. Remember, only once. Now, I don't want to execute this hello if the given number is less than 5. That means I want to execute the hello only if the given number is greater than 5. How do I write it? That means this statement needs to be selected to be executed only when the n is greater than 5. Okay, this is what I've written. If n is greater than 5, what is happening? Let's assume here now I entered a number 10. So 10 is greater than 5. What I'll get? What? 0. Right? Relational operator 0. 0 means what the if will do? It will skip one semicolon. It will skip one semicolon. This semicolon will be skipped. So we print the hi and bye form. 10. Hi and bye. Okay. So if you want to understand better, I put a slash in for you so that we have everything in a different line. So you understand it better. Yeah, I've done it. I put 5. I got it. Hi. Hello is not been executed. Remember why? Because my if has selected this statement not to be executed. Why? Because the condition failed. It's capable of if is capable of skipping only one semicolon. One statement means one semicolon. Now look at this. Sir, no, sir. I want to execute two statements. I want to execute what? Two statements. If you want to execute two statements after this, you can put a brace. If you want to execute multiple statements after if you want to select multiple statement after if, combine the multiple statement into a single statement using a brace. So by putting a brace, you are combining multiple statement into a single statement. I wrote right now, enter 5, I got only by. I wrote right now in this case 25, I got right now hello, hi, bye. Yeah, because it selected the two statement. 25 is greater than 5, it is true. True means I got 1. 1 means a non-zero. Non-zero means executed these two statements and came out. That means this statement will be always executed irrespective of the condition. Whereas these statements will be executed only when the condition is what? True. Next, if I write right now like this, if you have this one, I can write like this. Okay, for you to understand better, I am going to put it right now by %d, comma what? N. So in this case, if I enter 25, I am going to get by hello, hi, and 20, by and 25. Correct? If I enter right now 5, I am going to get only what? By 5. No, sir, I am going to change this statement here. I am going to add one more statement inside this. I am going to n plus 5. N is equal to n plus 5. So in this case, what is going to happen? My n value is going to change if I enter inside. That means if I enter 25, 25 is greater than 5 is going to be true, is going to print the hello. 25 plus 5 is 30, and we'll print the by, and we'll print by and what? 30. Correct? If I enter 5, it is not going to go inside. Why? The condition fails. It prints only what? It prints what? It's going to give me by and 5. Why it did not increase by 5? Because it did not go inside. Because 5 is greater than 5 false, it came out and printed what? By and 5. Okay. Now look at this. Now this is, you need to be very careful. Now you can also declare a variable inside. I don't understand. In this case, what happens? Now, if the local variable, this is a local variable. This is an outside variable. If the local variable, that means variable that is declared within the brace is a local variable. If a local variable and outside variable has the same name, the preference is given to the local. In this case, what is going to happen if I enter 25? 25 is greater than 5. Condition is what? 25 is greater than 5 is, condition is true. Now it creates a new n, not that n, okay? N plus 5. 2 plus 5 is 7. High is printed. When I come out, this n is dead. This n is destroyed. When I came here, it will refer this n. This n will be what right now? What in this case is what? 25 only. Therefore, even if I enter 25, I am going to get what in this place only 25. It will not increase by 5. Remember that. Okay. Now the next is here. After if how many statement you can associate? Only one. By putting a brace, what you have done? Combine multiple statement into a single statement. No, can I put a semicolon here? You can put. If you put a semicolon here, what is going to happen? It is going to consider this as a one statement. This is not part of the if. Therefore, if I enter 25, I am going to get the same output. If I enter 5 or if I enter 2, I'm going to get the same output. Why? Because when I put 2 now, it skipped only this statement. This is outside. This is all will be commonly be executed for. Therefore, now the most important thing is after if you can't put a semicolon. Remember, if you put a semicolon, the if will have a no meaning. Okay, remember that. Next, by putting a brace, you are combining multiple statement into a single statement. That's what you are doing. Now, whatever you write outside will be executed every time. Whatever you write inside will be executed based on the condition. Based on the condition. Okay? Yeah. So now you need to apply this in the program. Okay. I'm going to show the program, read the program, pause the video, and solve it and come. So if you like my session, kindly share, subscribe, and like. See, the program is very simple for you. Okay. Divide larger by the smaller using only an if, not using if else. We have done this program before using if else, I know. But now you are going to solve this problem using what? Only an if. You can't use what an if else. Okay? Try. Now, what is the input? Two numbers. What is the output? I need divide the larger by the smaller. So you might have written like this using an if else. I couldn't think. Okay, fine. So x by y. Else you must have said z is equal to what? Y by x. Done. I put it like that. You must have done it. I put 10 and 3. I got what? 3.33. If I put 3 and 10 also, you get the same. But sir, your question is using an if. Okay, simple thing. Now, when I need to divide x by y is if x is greater, right? Therefore, what I'm going to assume z is equal to y by x. That means I'm saying I assume y is greater. In this case, if I enter what 10 and 3, Is going to divide 3 divided by 10. Okay, so 3, it's supposed to be 10 divided by 3. No, 3 divided by 10. Now, what is happening here? Now, if this condition becomes true, 10 is greater than 3 is true. Therefore, again divide 10 by what? 3. Whereas if I enter here right now, 10, 3 and 10, what would happen? So 10 by 3 is 3.33, and then what it does, it is 3 is greater than 10 is false. It'll skip this statement, it'll come out and print the original value of what? Z. Okay, simple thing. Come, let's go to the next problem. I hope you understood. If you have not understood, just put in a comment. I will come and solve in the next class. Okay, let's learn if fails how to use it. Okay, what we said was, in the if it is n is greater than 10, I'll print this. Correct? These two statements are outside. Whether it is n is greater than 10 or not, high and by will be printed for me. Okay, so let us see. I put here 2, it prints high and by. If I put here right now 15, it prints what? Hello, hi, bye. Because 15 is greater than 10, it prints. That means these two statements are not part of the if. But sir, my aim is like this. I want to print hello if the n is greater than 10. If the n is not greater than 10, I want to print hi. So what I'll do? I'll put else. In this case, the if else is a whole thing is a single statement. Remember, this whole thing is a single statement. This statement will be executed only if the condition is true. This statement will be executed when the condition is false. But this statement will always be executed. Will always be what? Executed. Okay. What do I mean by this? I entered right now 30. 30 is greater than 10 is true. Is 1. So it's going to print the hello. It is not going to the else. It's going to print the by. See? I put 30, I got the answer. If I enter right now, in this case is 2. 2 is greater than 10 is false. False means I got 0. 0 means go to the else part. It prints a high n, then comes out and print what? By. Yeah? Therefore, this statement is common. This statement will be executed only if the condition fails. This statement will be executed only if the condition is what? Successful. After if, you can execute only one statement. If you want to execute more than one, you need to put a brace. After else, you can execute only one statement. If you want to execute more than one statement, what you need? A brace. After if you put a semicolon, I said nothing will happen. It will make, but in if else, you can't put a semicolon after if. Why? It's going to give an error. It's going to say else without what? Previous if. Why? The else cannot exist without an if. By putting the semicolon, you put a statement along with the if. This statement came in between. Okay, therefore it separates if from else. Therefore it's saying what? Else cannot exist what? Without if here. Therefore this cannot be done. I run the code. I am 25. I got this. Pi. Got it? Yeah. So any number of statements you can execute after else, but you need to put a brace. Next, after if you can have a condition. After else, you can't have a condition. After else, you can't have a condition. Okay, come, let's solve the next problem using an if else. Your question goes here, you can read. Okay, so I need to input an age. If the age is above 18 and above, you should say you are a major. Otherwise, you have to say what? A minor. Okay, so go pause the video, solve the problem and come. So what is the input now? Input is the age. What we said, if the age is greater than or equal to 18, I should print you are a major. else I should print you are a minor. Done. Run the code. I enter 18. You are a major. I run the code. I enter 12. You are a minor. Okay, cool. Done. Okay. Now let's learn a next concept here. Okay, come, let's go to the next concept. Okay, now we are going to learn how to nest the if else. Nest the if else here. Okay, now look at this right now. If the n is greater than 10, we wrote hello. If n is less than 10, we wrote hi. What about if n is equal to 10? What about if n is equal to 10? What is going to print for me? It is going to go to the else part, hi. Why? Because 10 is greater than 10 would be what? False. It will go to the else part. When you go to the else part, it will print high. But no sir, I want to do like this. If n is equal to 10, I want to say it's equal. Oh, in this case, what you can do? You come to the else part for two reasons. Which are the two reasons? One is if n is less than 10. Other one is if n is what? Equal to 10. Okay, that's what you're going to do. In this case, I'm going to do like this. When I come to the else, I'm going to make a decision again. If n is less than 10, I'm going to print high. Okay. Else, I'm going to say printf. I'm going to say what? It is equal. Yeah. Done. I come to the else part for two reasons. One is if the n is less than 10, otherwise it's what? Equal to 10. So I put right now in this place I put 25. 25 is greater than 10, therefore it's going to print the hello, is not going to go to the else part. It directly come to the by. Right? If I enter here right now 5, what is going to happen? 5 is greater than 10 is false, it will go to the else part. There again I'm checking if 5 is less than 10 is what? True, it's print the high, it will not go to the else part, print the by. Correct? Right? Okay, now what happens, sir? If I run right now with 10, what is going to happen? 10 is less greater than 10 is false, it will go to the else part. 10 is less than 10 is what? False. I will go and print the by. Equal and what? By. Got it? But sir, I told you very clearly, after if and else you can execute only one statement. If one statement, I don't need a brace. Oh, in this case, if else is a single statement, I don't need a brace. In this case, when I come to the else, again I'm executing this statement. That means in my program, if you ask me how many statements right now, I have only 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 statements. This whole thing is a single statement now. Why? Because if else is a single, in the else again I added what an if, cascaded a if. Therefore, in this case, in C, C++, Java, we don't have a something called else if. We cascade the if else inside the else. We cascade the if else inside the else if. That's what we are doing. Therefore, writing in one line does not mean that we have an else if. No, we don't have. We have cascade the if else where inside the else. Therefore, this else belong to this if. This else belong to what? This if. Remember that. Okay. Now next. I put it right now. I enter right now 25. I'm going to get what? Hello and bye. Because when this, it does not want to come to this else. If it doesn't come to this else, it won't come to this else. Okay. Now the next is it necessary after else if you want it to end with a else? No. In the else you can also put only an if. That means this also you can write. I don't need to do. Only if also you can write. In this case, if I enter 10, what will happen? 10 is greater than 10 is false. It will go to what else? 10 is less than 10 is false. It will come out. It will print only back. That's it. Yeah. Bye. Got it? Yeah. We do not have a control statement called else if. We cascade the if else inside the else. Okay. Come. Let's solve another problem. The question is simple. It is find the largest of three numbers. Find the largest of three numbers. Okay. If you remember, I have did in when I taught relational operators, I did teach you find the largest of four numbers. Okay, but I am teaching three numbers. Now we are going to write an efficient code. Okay, how to make it efficient? Let us see. Okay, first you try find the largest of three numbers. Pause the video, try to solve the problem, and then if you have not solved, come back and watch the video and continue the class. Hmm? Okay, so now I have three numbers. I need to find the largest of three. So how to find the largest of three? Okay, you might have written like this: x is greater than y, and x is greater than z. If these two conditions are satisfied, who is greater? You must have written what? X. Percentage d is greater. Correct? If the condition fails, that means you must written if. What you must written what? X is greater, sorry, y is greater than x, and y is greater than z. You must have written printf who is greater, percentage d is greater, where you want to say what? Y. Correct? If not, what are you going to say? If the condition fails, obviously the last one who is left out is what? Z. I want to say percentage d is greater and comma what? C. Correct? Yeah. But sir, the problem is your written code is right. But what is the challenge I want to get it? In this to find the largest of three numbers, do I need four comparisons? Not needed. Logically speaking, if you have an n numbers, you have only n minus 1 comparisons are needed. Therefore, how I am going to save my comparison? If you come to this else part means what? X is not greater. Therefore, first thing is I can knock out this. If x is greater than y and x is greater than z, x is greater. If not, who is greater what? I need to compare y with z because x is not greater, right? Okay, sir, but still you have a three numbers, you have a three comparisons. Okay, I have a solution for you. Can I knock out one? No, you can't. Okay, so in this case, what I can do? I have a simple solution for you. Whenever you write a program, remember the same statement should never get repeated. Whenever a same statement gets repeated, put them outside. Put them where? Outside. How will do that? Now, I am going to simply write like this. Percentage d is greater. Okay, I'm going to say like this: if x is greater than y, what is the meaning of this? Who is greater? See, if you have been given three numbers, you compare two numbers, you take the result. This is what mentally you do. Okay, if you want, I can put it in the board and show you. Okay, if I write it right now like this, I have been given a number 8, 15, and 7. What do you do first? You compare these two, find the greater, that you compare with the next number and find. Correct? Yeah? Therefore, the same thing you apply. So what I need to do, if x is greater than y, if x is greater than y, what I should do? I am going to store g is equal to x. Store the result in what? G is equal to x. Else g is equal to what? Y. What we got? We got a greater among x and y. Right. Next, what I should do? Now, g is a greater among x and y. Now, that needs to be compared with what? With the z. If g is greater than z, who is greater? G. Then I don't need to change the g value. Right now, g is greater than z. I am supposed to say g is equal to g. Otherwise, what I should say, g is equal to z. Correct? Oh, here g is equal to the same statement you are writing for what? No, you are assigning to itself instead of this. When I need to make a change to g is if z is what? Greater. That's what you do. Simple thing you write here. If g is less than z, do this. Yeah. Now I want to print the g. I don't need the brace because one statement, no need to write it. I put right now, enter three numbers 16, 7, and 9. I got what? 16 is a greater. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's go to the next problem. Okay, let us solve. If you have not solved, let us solve. First is we need to analyze a problem. Okay, what is a problem is right now I have been given the number of units. See, they are saying for the first 100 units, the charge is 4 rupee per unit. For the first 100, remember what do you mean by for the first 100? They never said that 0 to 100 is what 4 rupees. They said the first 100 for everybody for the first 100 is 4 rupees per unit. For the next 200, it is what? 5 rupees for every additional unit. See the language carefully. That means if I enter 101 unit, for 100 unit I have to charge 4 rupees only. But for 1 unit, how much I have to charge what? I have to charge 5 rupees. Now, above 300 units, for every additional unit, I have to charge what? 10 rupees. That means if I have been given 300 units, 301 unit, for the first 100, 4 rupees only. For the next 200 is what? 5 rupees. For 1 unit, I have to charge what? 10 rupees. Remember. That means if I give you 600 units, 100 units 4 rupees, 200 units is what? 5 rupees, and remaining 300 units, how much I have to charge what? 10 rupees. Now the next is here, if the amount exceeds 1000, charge 5% additional surcharge. If the amount exceeds 1000, have to additional 5%, and all the amounts are charged what? 18% GST. So every amount which you are supposed to pay, on that 18% you charge what? GST. Okay, so let us solve this problem. Okay, so now we enter the units. Now what we said, what? I need to calculate the amount. Double amount is equal For the first 100 units, for the first 100, what do you mean by first 100? My n is what? Less than 100 or equal to 100, remember. But if I write like this, what is going to happen? If the user enters a negative number, it is going to go inside. It's going to calculate what? This amount. That means my input cannot be negative right now. Therefore, my one option is you can avoid it first time itself. What you would have done was you would have made a statement if n is less than 0, printf. Okay, what is it? No negative input. Okay. Now I can calculate only if it is what? This, right? That's n is less than or equal to 100. See, if I come to the else part means what? N is not negative. Correct? What I should do? What is the amount I should calculate? Amount is equal to, for the first 100 units, how much I have to charge what? I have to charge 4 rupees. Therefore, I say n into 4. Whatever this comes, 4 rupees directly. Correct? Else, what is the next one is what? If the next 200 units, that means from 100 to 300, that means if n is less than or equal to 300, what I should do? Amount is equal to, for the first 100 units, I have to charge what? 4 rupees. For the next one, for the remaining, I have to charge how much? What in this case is remaining? How to get the remaining? N minus 100, sorry, n minus 100 needs to be multiplied by 5. Okay, if not, what I need to do? What is my amount is going to be? For the first 100, 4. For the next 200 is 5. And the remaining unit, how to write remaining unit? N minus 300 into what? 10. Correct? Now the next is here in this case is, next in this case what I'm going to do? Okay. So I calculated the amount, right? Now I need to talk about the surcharge. When I should charge a surcharge? If the amount is greater than what? 1000 rupees, I need to charge 5%. How do I write 5%? Amount is equal to amount plus amount into 0.05. Right? Done. Next what? I'm supposed to do this. Now what I need to do next is what? I need to print. No, everybody's charged what? GST, right? Everybody charged. The first a common statement is outside. Everybody charged. Amount into 18%. Amount plus amount into 0.18. Correct? Now I need to say the amount to be in a unit. Printf. The unit is equal to %t slash n, and the amount is equal to percentage lf, comma, what I should write what? N, comma, what I should write? So if I enter right now 1000 units, I get unit 1000 and the well is 10,000. If I enter 600 units, yeah, okay, yes. So Let us see whether you have understood or not. I want to ask you one question now, and after that, I'm going to give you one program. That program you have to solve by yourself. Okay, I'm not going to solve it. You have to solve by yourself, and there is objective questions have been given below. You have to solve it. Okay. So first is, let us see the difference between writing only if else and then writing else if. Okay, I'm going to explain to you what is it. See, integer x is 7. Okay. If x is greater than 5, I'm going to take x is equal to x plus 10, else if x is greater than 6, x is equal to x plus 20. Oh, sorry, I'm not going to put 6, I'm going to put it 10. X is greater than 10, and else x is equal to x plus 5. I want the x value. Take your notebook and see what is the x value is going on. What is it? Yeah. Is it 10? Is the x value is what? It's 7, or it can be 17, or it can be what? 27, right? What is the answer you have? Okay. What the answer should be? X is greater than 5 is 7 is greater than 5 is true. Therefore, 7 plus 10 is what? 17, and none of the things will be executed. My answer is 17. Now, instead of writing that, if I would have written only else here, what would happen? If we write else, every if will be verified. 7 is greater than 5 is true. Therefore, x became 17. Now 17 is greater than 10. Condition is what? True. Therefore, 17 plus 20 becomes how much? It is what? 37. Okay? It will not go to the else part. Why? Because this else is part of if. If the if is successful, it will not execute the else. Therefore, if you keep on writing if, every if will be what? Executed. Okay? It is going to take your time also. It may put in the wrong calculations also. Therefore, avoid unnecessary ifs. If you want, you can cascade what? The ifs you can cascade. Okay, next. Now we saw here the if, how to use a if else. Right now, you can also put the if inside the if. You can also put the else if inside what? A else also. Remember that. Okay, you can cascade, but only thing you need to remember, after if only one statement can be executed. The statement can be another if also. The statement can be another what? If also. Remember that. Yeah. Now the next problem is solved. Okay. So what is the question? Write a program to accept a coordinate point in x and y coordinate system and determine in which quadrant the coordinate points are lies. Okay, whether it's in the first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant, or it is lying in the x-axis or what? Y-axis. Okay, these are the places it can lie. Okay, this is what you need to give. That means your answer can be either first, second, third, fourth, or what? X-axis or what? Y-axis. Okay, yeah, solve the problem and make an effort. It is, if you don't take an effort, nothing will happen. Okay, and thank you for watching this video.